All right, it's time for a conversation with Electric Enemy, and I've conversed with Jim, lead singer, guitar player, and Orlando guitar player, just over a year ago. But I've never met Ewan, the newest member, a fella that's been in the group for coming up 9 months, and the new single Burn, released in the start of November 2022, is absolutely incredible. For me, long story short, as I wax lyrical about near the end of this conversation and during it, this is one of the most exciting modern rock bands on the planet. They also make me laugh aplenty. And we just got a great connection. And it was such a thrill to catch up with them after Jim threw it out there on the old Instagram last week and said, let's just have a catch-up chat. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that right now. Next week. Like right now, next week. And here we are. Here's a conversation with Electric Enemy 2.0. For more conversations like this, consider going to whatwasthatradio.com. Thank you. And to just discover modern rock. That's probably everything you need to know is there. There's lots of different...
Hello.
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 Hey.
You all right?
Hello, talented, handsome men. How are you? Why did you agree to do this at 11:30 your time at night, you crazy bastards?
It's just the morning.
Yeah, no, it's my fault. I've been in a session all day, and I just kind of thought I want to make this happen. And I told you, and can we do Tuesday night? He went, geez, that's the only night I can't do.
That's exactly how it went.
It's pretty much exactly what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
How are you? It's been ages, John.
It has been a long time. I'm just updating because I'm simulcasting via Twitch and via the radio station. So now everyone sees a conversation with Electric Enemy. So they're not like, what is this, a fucking talk show all of a sudden without any context? Bam. I'm great.
You stole my husband.
Yeah. It's been, since I've last seen you, it's just been a continuous go situation and just building What Was That Radio. I'd gone back into working in produce, stacking shelves at a store just a couple miles up the road here. Ended up being a pretty toxic place to be in, besides a few people that I really have made good friends with. And then I didn't realize, super long story short, that a guy called Ray, he and his wife Tanis had supported me when I was on commercial radio for a decade here. Then were the third people to sign up to support me when I went independent 2.5 years ago. And so I was just Instagramming, oh, look at all my cut fruit and all my wet rack and veg that I make look so beautiful and like art. And then Tanis messaged me and said, oh my God, Ray has been looking for produce people for 9 months. And I was like, Ray works in groceries, in supermarkets? And I completely forgotten the fact that that's what he's done. He's a store manager. He's one of the top guys in his company. And he's been doing it for as long as I've been alive. He's been doing it 36 years and I'm 35. So like, it was a no-brainer. A no-brainer to go and work for him. He's such a sweetheart, and it's just such a different atmosphere there. It's so fun to go into work, and I like to work my backside off. It's my gym, and I do 5 a.m. to 1:30. So then that means that leaves time for Jodie and Harley, my partner and her son, are in the kitchen. For you, and you haven't met them yet, but they're just 20 feet away in the kitchen. So it means that it's going to enable Jodie and Harley and I to have way more connection time. It's going to enable Jodie to dive into schooling a lot more. I can pick up Harley from school a few days a week and help her with getting more hours and work and just making sure that we're all on the right path to achieve our dreams equally and supportively. That's the long story short on my update.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And I have to say, by the way, like I genuinely enjoyed any time that you posted like a shelf thing, because I'm going to get this out there before vegan. Sorry. Yeah, no, basically, no, I don't love it. Like, it's just, it looks so fresh. Like, you make it look like super, it is an art form. Do you know what I mean? Like, It's very interesting.
Yeah, well, I'd like it. When I was in England years ago, from 15 years old, I was working at Sainsbury's and Tesco in produce. And so when I went to performing arts school, I was still working at Tesco. And when I finished and I ended up being hired to be a media teacher at the school for a couple of years, I was still working at Tesco in the summers. And they trained me up to be, assistant manager and then to be like a regional manager of multiple stores. And they knew I was moving to Canada, but they gave me that training to put on the CV. And I just thought, you know what? I was going completely, it was dangerous for my mental health in not moving my body enough in the first year and a half of building What Was That Radio. And so I said to Jodie, I think it's got to be produce. I've got to get back. I've got this Fitbit to see, and I'm doing 15 to 20,000 steps a shift. So it's like, okay, we're moving. And to speak to your lovely comment, it's got to be cared after. It's got to look awesome. It's got to look, I was going to say lush because I'm speaking to Brits.
Yeah.
But it's got to look attractive and be bought and then make us all money. You know, let the wheel go round.
100%.
So we'll come back to you, Jim. You and I don't know you very well. So where do we start with you? What were you doing today? Why is this your morning time? And
all the questions.
Yeah.
Well, today I actually, not even joking or exaggerating, took the day off work to make a TikTok that I had to make to promote our Radio 1 thing.
Oh, God.
In the morning.
I hope we were getting played on Radio 1
I
tonight.
don't need a lot as an excuse to take the day off work. So it wasn't. I don't think I'm going overboard for it. But no, it was. That's what I did today.
Well, give us the rundown on it. You get up at 6, you have a bacon sandwich, you do some stretching. How did you go about making a crucial TikTok?
Oh, mate, it was long. I had to set up the... I used it in a room of this house called the Rave Cave, which is a room full of all the previous tenants that have ever lived here. And they just threw all their stuff, because it's a converted garage. They threw all their stuff in there, and it's just piled with stuff. And I was like, this is a great piece of scenery. So then I did this little thing. It was a little joke about going to house viewings in London and how annoying it is. And then I managed to incorporate the Radio 1 thing into that somehow.
Did you post that on Instagram as well?
Yeah, that's on Instagram as well. It's on our TikTok as well.
Okay, let me just look it up quick, because I haven't seen it yet. Electric Enemy.
Have you seen any of the recent TikToks, actually, John?
I don't have TikTok, so I watch it if you Instagram
Oh, you're
it.
so lucky. I missed the days when I didn't have TikTok.
Yeah, so like Ewan basically was just kind of like, oh, hey, it's the new guy. Do you want to deal with this thing none of us want to deal with? And he was just kind of like, not really. We're like, please. And he got us, him and Max got us 500,000 views on TikTok just by being South End geezers.
Yeah,
basically.
we actually did. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've never been able to
So basically, put the old people away. You know, me and Orlando, we're in Florida as far as everyone's concerned. And
do all the brain work. We do the mucking about. That's how it works now, basically.
Yeah, it's that delicate balance of people expecting fun things on TikTok, but also people just seem to want to dive into you've made the geezer accessible, right? People love that. And whenever I say, "Are you from England?" Yeah, I'm not selling fucking bananas on Camden Town Market here, love. Like, that's not how I speak. You know, everyone comes up to you and goes, all right. I'm like, no, that's not me, but you, and that is you. That's you.
Well, one guy, yeah.
All right, let me watch this quick. Let me unmute it.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, I think you'll be able to understand.
Orlando's supposed to join us, by the way, but
that's
in the world of Orlando, anything's possible.
Yeah, he's probably lost in some art right now. He's such a sweetheart. I'm just going to put it to watching so then we can all see this. Let's see what this is all about.
Oh, great.
Thank you for coming to the viewing. So basically, this is the room. Oh, yeah, this will be alright once all the stuff's moved. What do you mean, all the stuff? Oh, right. Yeah. It's a very popular room. If you don't want it, I'll just get one of the other geezers. No, I'll take it. Okay, cool. And you're all employed, yeah? Yeah, I'm in a band. Right, and how's that going? Mate, we did 25,000 Spotify streams in a week. Yeah, sorry, mate, I hate to break it to you, but we don't actually accept Spotify streams as currency. We're getting played on Radio 1 tonight. All right, and what time is that? 1 in the morning?
Yeah.
Come back when you're a lawyer.
It's good. Hey, that's flipping sweet. Orlando, welcome, you heavenly angel.
Hello. Hello, John. How are you doing?
I'm good. All right, let me get back in the right scene.
Hello,
here.
Orlando. You all right?
Oh, hi, Ewan.
Hello there.
Hello.
You got the
associate.
Oh, hello, Jim.
So how did because Alex has got that. Alex is into, I think, her second month now doing the late night show. How did that come about? Did she reach out to you and say, I'm going to do this? Or how does that work when it comes to introducing and whatnot with the big players over there these days?
Go on, Ewan.
Well, I literally just posted it on BBC Essex, the introducing one. And then they normally play it, but instead we got an email this time saying that the lovely Alex Holcomb was going to play it on the Radio 1 one instead, which is definitely a promotion from the last time. So it was a win, for sure.
Yeah. And the time before that, got Daniel P. Carter, which was cool.
Yeah.
That was nice. And then a couple of Jack Saunders.
Yeah, my brother raves about
Promises.
Jack Saunders a lot. Obviously, I'm aware of him and have followed along, and it's refreshing when people actually get to speak their minds a little bit more. I know they're on they run a tight ship there, and they've only got a certain amount of time, and they've got to talk over usually like the first 15 seconds. They'll loop to make it seem like it's constant movement forward. But I like that they're allowing Mr. Saunders and Alex the time to actually truly speak to what makes that song special to them, why they attach with it. And I'm excited to see what she says about your song tonight.
Yeah, same. We've famously received, I don't know, like very minimal BBC quotes that we've used, and we've done our best to make them work. They've been great. Like there's something in the water here, and it's kind of like, yes, good. is it a crocodile? No, like obviously super grateful for all of that, but it's so funny whenever you listen back to some. Oh, Orlando's gone. There you go.
That's all right.
I think I might have offended him. But yeah, it's just funny whenever you get those quotes, which are obviously always said from like a genuine nice place, but being musicians, we tend to overthink absolutely everything.
Yeah, well, maybe
so like maybe there was literally just maybe he was talking to his producer, so we finished playing, and then there was like a cup of tea down there, and he looked at it, it's like there's something in the water here. And then maybe it was, I don't know, like a fly or something like that.
Yeah, and then that's the quote. I was going to say Orlando is what's in the water. That's why he's left to get ready for the show tonight.
Yeah.
So when Alex plays it and says, right, I've heard there's something in the water, I've read reviews about that, and then Orlando's like that Terry Del Germo water creature dude. That's
Guillermo del Toro, not Aquaman, but I know the one you mean.
Yeah, not quite Aquaman. Hey, you'd see Orlando in Aquaman. I could see him out there, looking all sultry.
I think it'd be Aquaman. Like it would be like a bit more of like a push on the Italian side of the word.
We're trying to get him to be Dracula soon, aren't we?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Maybe you can tell us if we've had a really rubbish music video idea or not. It's the single after Burn. How do you feel about that?
Him being a vampire?
Yeah, so like we're not going to dress him up. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to sit him down and tell him you're a vampire.
For 3 minutes, just subtitles. You're a vampire.
No. We're gonna make it good. It's like Transylvania style. It was just an idea. We don't know if we're actually going to do it yet, but Orlando was going to come in. It was all going to be done with like the fake speech cards and everything.
Right.
Yeah, like the silent movies kind of stuff.
Yeah. No. And they'd be like, I don't know. We're going to suck some blood out of Jim.
The more context, the better. Because right now, if you just say Dracula, I'm like, yeah, okay. But now, give me the info. Yeah, fuck it.
Take my money.
Yeah.
Basically, the idea is that I turn up to this place. I've been invited to dinner by a Dr. A. Cooler. And basically, the door magically swings open. I'm welcomed in. Orlando's sitting there. There he is, just like that. Sitting there. as if by magic, he reappears. And yeah, basically, I'm invited to dinner. They put some stuff in front of me. Ewan and Max are kind of like the Igor henchmen, kind of semi-vampire fellas, and yeah, basically it's kind of going to be like a Scooby-Doo chasing each other through corridors and stuff like that. That's kind of what we're going for. It's quite a heavy rock song, and I think there's a lot of emphasis on bands looking really serious in music videos, and believe you me, we've tried.
Yeah, we can't do it, can we?
We can't do it. We just can't do it.
We're two jolly people, like, don't work.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
I definitely, when we spoke last time, all the videos for me are just, they're so fun. Like I poke fun, but lovingly at Orlando and saying that there's just this suave nature to how he performs in the music videos. You just look so composed and sensual, for lack of a better word. And so I think if you had 5 Orlandos, you could do it. You might have to just, all get Orlando masks and just try and do your best physical impression.
No, there's an idea.
That's good advice.
Cheers for that. Yeah.
How's your day been, Orlando? We were getting connected. You disconnected, but what's been new with you over there today?
Yeah, it's been good. I just moved in a new place, so I don't know how the internet works. Because the internet is different everywhere you go.
Yeah. Have you got John Lewis internet or something?
John Lewis internet.
That's a real thing. Our booking agent has John Lewis internet, and he's just like, "Oh, it's so expensive and it's rubbish."
What the hell? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this one is like M&S. Yeah.
M&S. Nice.
Is that that's probably a joke from Orlando, but like for real, John Lewis do internet. That's what's happened since I've left 13 years ago.
Apparently, John Lewis do internet, but apparently they've been doing it for ages.
What?
But clearly, the online campaign hasn't been a great success. You know?
No, they should probably mention that in the Christmas ad.
Yeah,
I've never spoken about John Lewis in a band interview before, I'll be honest.
You've never spoken about John Lewis in a band interview, did you say?
I love it.
Yeah.
That's where Ewan is the Prince of Darkness, and we're his nice dads. You know.
Oh my God.
I was only playing.
Oh, I know you're playing. No. We can play, and we will play, Ewan. You welcome to the jungle. But the Lamb of God shirt is an immediate tick. Okay, this guy's going to be good.
Oh yeah, check that. I'm impressed you noticed that. You can only see a little bit.
When it's the Lamb of God font, you just know. And also, to be fair, you were wearing it in a TikTok that you booked off the day for work to create.
Oh yeah.
So I don't want to claim that I'm not, was it Delia Smith? Does she? Anyway, I'm not, whoever, right? No, not Delia Smith. Delia Smith's the cook. Sorry, who was it? Mystic Meg. Yeah. I'm not Mystic Meg. That's what I was going to say. Not Delia Smith. Delia Smith would be like, let's be fucking having you. That would be Delia Smith. That's a very different conversation.
Oh, wow. That's good.
I'd like to dive into Burn. So as you saw in that video that I chopped out of the show 2 Friday nights ago, I'm just forever in awe of the structuring and the layering of how you go about making music. I know that when we spoke about where do we go from here, and you were saying, God, it's like 40 to 60 different backing vocals layered up, and it was just one of the most difficult and challenging but most ultimately rewarding things you've done. That for me is when I think of Electric Enemy, I think of that richness and texture. I think of the playfulness in so many hidden things you've got in that mix that many people might not even notice you've got there. And that's what we're going to get into. But firstly, with the vocal layering, I mean, Jody and I and Harley, the three of us, we put on the song every night since it came out. Like it's how we end the day before like they're brushing teeth. I'm cranking Burn downstairs every fucking night.
That's amazing, man. Thank
you. Where do you want to start with this process? Aside from what I love about it, where did this song get its foundations?
So basically, as with any great idea, my bedroom. And basically, I demoed up this thing. I wasn't even sure if it was going to be for Electric Enemy to begin with, actually. It was just kind of like a boom, clap, kind of bluesy kind of vibe, but then it kind of elaborated from there with a bit of a hip-hop kind of feel. And yeah, it just kind of built up and up. And, I think that on longer lines, I always find it really difficult not to harmonize, especially when it's like more legato kind of lines. So that pre-chorus, that we don't want to die, that thing, just kind of adding the harmonies on top of that. I think there's in a lot of our songs a kind of classical foundation in a lot of ways. Like, not that I even know how to read music, but there's that kind of feeling of wanting to make it sound like a bit of an anti-church, if that makes any sense. And then just kind of giving it that lift in the choruses and just seeing how far the vocal range can go. And there are definitely harmonies that didn't make it, let's put it that way, that were just a little too high.
I mean, it's fascinating though, with Burn, when you're going Burn, you're bending in, and then you're bending in with all those layers. It must have taken flipping forever.
Weirdly, it didn't actually. I think it's I think when you pre-produce and all that kind of stuff, and then you eventually go into the studio and stuff, it's just, I think you're quite prepared for all of those bits. And I feel like we're kind of getting into, it's taken us long enough, but we are getting into a flow of how we like to kind of record stuff and how we like to layer stuff, to the extent where it is just like, it's kind of like clockwork now. It's just kind of like, right, the harmony is going to go like this. Let's think about a bend. One of the tracks which I always like to reference in terms of backing vocals, even though it doesn't always find its way in, is You and Whose Army by Radiohead. just those little those kind of vocals and the way how they're all really shaky and sound on the cusp of being out of tune, but they're all perfectly in. So I think it's that kind of vulnerable vocal without it sounding really off and rubbish, you know. Hopefully,
it's incredible. Yeah. It's incredible. Orlando, what was your first interaction with this song demo wise, and what did it spark in you?
Yeah, I remember Jim sent us the demo, and we all tried to fucked it up like we always do. And but yeah, just dissectioning it, and yeah, I think the idea was quite strong, straight at the beginning. That we didn't change much. We only added that riff that goes da-now, now, da-now, da-now, da-now. So that was actually a jam in the studio, because we wanted to add an extra riff, and we didn't have that idea. It just happened like in during rehearsal, and then we recorded it.
Yeah, because I think before it was the riff that you have underneath the verse, which just came back in, the down, down, and there was maybe going to be something there. And every time I hear that riff in my head, I always go, "It's just one of those days." Do your durst, Fred.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to come for us. I think we'll be all right.
I think you'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ewan, for you, what when you're jamming it out, who was it that was like, we got to add something extra in here, or did it just organically happen?
To be fair, we were kind of like, as Jim was saying, like we were working stuff out beforehand. We were basically working with this geezer called Adrian Bushby, who did that record with us. And then he, I remember there was some backwards and forwards between like Jim and that, because they were like, that's the thing. There's always like it needs an extra riff, and then like as a band, you have to decide whether you want to put it in or not. Do you know what I mean? So then there's that little bit, and then so we were just kind of jamming that, because obviously if it was going to go in, it had to be something good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that mainly just came from pre-production, didn't it? And maybe the input from Adrian a little bit. So he was like, "It needs another riff. So
yeah,
with it basically. But I think it was a good suggestion. Like, it's way better now than the original. Like, the original one was. The riff was lacking there, I think, in hindsight. Now we've done it.
Yeah. No, I think it was a good idea, and it's kind of because what we've been doing for a while now is basically kind of tracking to the demo, which is kind of as good as we can try and make it. So with Burn, that was one of the things that happened. Like, a lot of the sounds in there are even from the original demo. And it's just kind of finding that extra bit of something, just that extra kind of mile without overcomplicating it, which is like a really fine line. And actually, Ewan's smiling because I think that he's thinking about.
Also, can I just say, this is throwing me off. Until a minute ago, I'd never clocked that Burn sounds like break stuff. And now I'm like, oh, no, mate, that's sick. You actually do. Oh, mate, like, you legend. Nice. Love it.
I thought you were smiling because of... I
was as well.
Basically,
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, you know, there's a temptation if something's just, like, there and it's a song. And if you're an amazing musician, like the other three are, there's a temptation to kind of, like, exercise your demons over the top of a song. And sometimes Ewan will go on. You describe it better than me.
Yeah, we just like to noodle, like especially Max as well, the drummer now. Yeah, like me and him are both very noodly, and like Orlando, like as all guitarists like to noodle, don't they? So like we come up with and we throw stuff.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, we basically have to go and take stuff out and then decide what bits we can actually get away with. But that's one of the most fun bits of recording, I think. I love that. Just like some of the stupid things we try and all that. Like, but it's great. It's like, it's part of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We did put a bit of Bach, like in, like Ewan put like a little, like classical piece inside the song, which was
I'll
cool.
Take the Wheel. Yeah.
Take the Wheel,
Yeah,
that was good. Love a bit of Bach.
Before we go any further, we need to have a dust off. And we're all going to do our best. Yeah. I've done mine. Ewan?
Yeah.
Jim?
That was the wrong one. That was the wrong, that came out different than
that's
that.
just for me, boy. That's just for me, Ewan.
I was gonna say, good thing that we're doing this so late.
All right, well, that was your warm-up, Ewan. Feel free to try another one.
What year are we doing? Give me a context, because he has a few different years.
Well, just whichever Fred Durst year comes to your mind first. Don't overthink it.
I don't think I can do a year. I could do a motherfucking chainsaw. What? But I don't think I could do a year.
That's fine. Jim, what have you got?
Yeah.
And Orlando's like, no, I don't do Durst, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he leaves the Dursty work to us.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's going to happen a lot, man. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that was good. I just don't want to wake up the hound I got next to me. So
who's next to you? Is it Snoop or Raph? Oh, Snoop.
Say something so we can get you back in shot, Orlando.
Hello.
There we go. Now show us.
Yeah.
Show us the puppy now. Sorry, because it's on whoever speaks. Yeah. Oh,
Can you see it?
Precious angel.
Look at him. He's like a seal, but also a monkey.
It blends in with the cushions. One might think that is a cushion on a blurry webcam from afar.
Yeah, it is a cushion.
I got to say, it's a lovely background you got there, mate. Is that? Yeah. What's going on in those paintings? That's lovely. Sketches.
Yeah,
Are they yours?
No, but we painted the wall, and then I thought I might hang the old Kramer.
Jersey Star. Fun fact, actually, because I remember we were talking about therapy the first time that we got together, and so Kramer, they've actually used it as like their soundtrack, the riff.
Oh,
mental. Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, cheers, guys. Like, glad you like it. Like, it was even played at Bloodstock on like the big screens in between bands. Like, we weren't invited to play Bloodstock, but therapy made it, you know. So that's nice.
Thanks, Bloodstock. Appreciate that. You know.
Oh man.
All those people stood there going, never mind all this shit. Who's this band in between? Does anyone know who this band is in between?
Who's this song by?
I wonder if they're only like. Are they on Love Island as well? This same band? Wow, same band. Wow, thanks, Google. What is it? There are these sounds in the first chorus and the second chorus. Oh, spelling T on the keyboard. That's all right. I can't put my finger on what it is. It's so subtly hidden, mainly on the left-hand side of the mix, where you've got what sounds like it could be a cash register, sort of ching, 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 or it could be, some bells on a busker's shoes, or it could be, what is that? What is that layering that you've got there?
Does it sound like could it also be like a little scream thing? Like something like that, like a little TIE fighter?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a little TIE fighter. That's a little sample that I'd kind of like put together with a few other different sounds and then joined the audio together. I just kind of thought, that sounds weird. That's something that would be, I don't know, interesting for the ear, I guess. So, yeah. Yeah,
actually, if it's okay, I'm going to play just for those watching and listening right now, for the 15 or so of us, it would make sense to play it. So hopefully it's not going to deafen you guys, but let me know if it's too loud. Let me take it down to about 75% so it's not completely destroying. But let's listen to this great song, Burn. I'm sorry, Orlando, you wouldn't do the Durst because you didn't want to wake up the dog, and now you're trying to get the dog to dance? You are a cheeky specimen.
But for this, it makes sense. Go on, he's loving it.
You know, when you really pull this thing apart, there's not, and this is not meant to sound negative, there's not that much to this song in terms of guitar. it's so
100%.
it's so pure and it's so well captured that then you can allow that backing vocal to build and make the listener think there's thousands of layers going on here, but you've just got the dum dum to the right and the support to the left, bass down the middle, and it's just allowing everything else to just fucking thrive around it. The strange synthesizer things, these other effects of TIE fighters and whatnot, whatever else you've got in there, that allows all that play in a bowl mix up, making a big salad of awesome rock with flames involved in it.
Nice.
We'll
Thank you. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Yes. Big compliment.
We'll keep going then. Yeah, there it is. It goes from left to right. That's the TIE fighter then. Blah, 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 that thing.
Go back again, can you? Sorry.
In the second verse.
That thing.
Yeah, is it like you got some horses running off in the distance?
Piano.
Yeah, it's piano. Yeah.
Yeah, piano.
No. He means the percussion bit. The
Oh, the boom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the krum. Right. Yeah. So the boom. That's it's like a slowed down kick thing. I don't know how else to explain it than that. It's like you know how in dance music they do the dum dum dum. Snoop is like fully awake. Orlando, say something.
So basically, this guy, right?
Sorry. So you know how in dance music they go like bump 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 duka 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 dum, and they kind of like line up the kicks and go duka 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 dum. So it's kind of like that, except you slow it down. So it goes duka kum.
Right.
Yeah.
I got mildly distracted. I'm sorry, because my Zoom has suddenly decided to do a bunch of random shit. So I just want to figure out why. Oh my God, what is going on here?
Okay, can I say something? All
yes,
right,
please.
So this guy is called Snoop Dogg, right? And there is a bit of Snoop Dogg in this song. So we use the
Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre, yeah. What's the song?
Still Dre. Still Dre.
Still Dre, yeah. The isn't that right? Yeah, he agrees. He just doesn't know because he's like grumpy. Come on, mate. Anyway,
he's like, it's bedtime. For God's sake, let me rest, man. What is Zoom doing? Zoom has got everything now like 1, 2, 3. And it's not defaulting to speaker mode, which is what I usually have. And I feel 85 years old. That's great.
If you go, oh right, that's weird. Are you on gallery instead of speaker, or? Yeah,
it's put it in gallery, but it won't. When I go back to speaker, it thinks it's still gallery.
I love your room, John. Is that?
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of that room.
Yeah, is it like a fish tank that you got?
Yeah. This is. Oh, I really want to sort this out because it looks weird. Speaker, why isn't it on? When I do that, Jim, say something.
Hello.
See, it's not flicking to the speaker.
Do you want us to leave and come back in?
That's so unprofesh.
Well, IT crowd.
Anyone watching? Any ideas? Because this is legit. Mildly annoying. I don't know why. Yeah, if we could get Richard Armitage in here, he might help.
What's going on?
It's all good, Ewan. It's
okay.
It's not all good. Yeah, it's on speaker view and it's not doing. It's just like got us all looking like this. So. Pardon this.
No, not at all.
The good thing about this is that it will mean that I would have learned something today, which is always a good thing to add to your arsenal. I honestly don't know. Now it's on. I don't know why. Like I double clicked on Orlando earlier so that we could see him dancing with the dog to sort of get out of the speaker view, and it won't go back to it. It looks good now, but it's not right, Bill, because it's only good now because Bill is in the chat and listening. It's only good now because I've selected. Okay, weird. Yeah, maybe try. Yeah, sorry if you don't mind.
Should we leave and come back in? Yeah.
All leave and all come back. Let's see what it does. So weird. Thanks, guys.
No, of course.
All right.
I don't understand it. Right, so now it should just be me on speaker view. All right, so mildly frustrating to for that to happen. Let's get Ewan back in. All right. There we go. Ewan's back.
Hello.
All right. Here comes Orlando. Here comes Jim. Right. This looked right. This is what we want. Right. We're back.
Hello.
Yeah. Fabulous. That was weird. Thanks for understanding. And, you know, it's not quite BBC Radio 1 in this fucking living room, I tell you right now. But speaking of this living room, yes, that's the fish tank. It's still got the Halloween pumpkin in it and little fire flame dude that you might see from all the way over there. I'm not sure. Obviously, I can't carry the tank over and show you, but I promise you it's in there. And this is just Jodie. Like Jodie and Harley let me move in, my partner and her son, coming up 3 Christmases ago this Christmas. And so it's all Jodie aesthetic and loads of plants and flowers, and it's wonderful. And
I love that sofa.
Yeah, and yeah, that's so comfortable. And then and then my cactus that I'll show you, seeing as though we're going to do a show and tell. I was given this. This is the logo of the station I used to work for, The Zone, for a decade, the modern rock station in town. And a fella, I won't say his name in case his parents don't want his name on the internet, but a 10-year-old gave me this cactus 8 years ago. And it was about yay big. And it grew to about yay big, but then it started to get all droopy and like a limp D-I-C-K. And, you know, it just, for some reason, Cialis didn't work and Viagra didn't work. And so Jodie said, well, let's cut it in half. And then we'll replant the other half that's upstairs growing in a different pot. But now it's spawned all these, I'll show you, and look at all these babies that it's spawned.
Wow, that's really cool.
That's so trippy.
That's very cool. Yeah, I like that.
So there you
go. It looks like a well-designed modern Christmas tree with balls and everything.
Yeah. I'll try and sell this at the market in the first week of December. Who wants a pre-made Christmas tree? Hang your lights and keep your kids away from it. Yeah.
From a different planet.
Yeah, this is the Mars Christmas tree. Yeah, I'm sure Elon Musk is like, fuck, is that what the trees are like on Mars? I'm not going, but let's sell all these tickets to these idiots. Come on, man. All right, let's talk a little bit more about, let's hone in back on that point, because I'm sorry I was glossing over it. So the referencing of Dre and Snoop, how does that incorporate in the song? Is it in the synth part at the start of the song, or is it something else to re-explain the point?
So the Dre bit's piano, so it goes da da cling 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 da da cling cling cling, and that's the only way that you can you kind of have to cling cling cling.
Yeah.
And then the bit which you were talking about is like what I was saying before is like a what would be the equivalent would be like a dicka 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 da kind of like dance kick where it gets kind of put into I don't know, like very very small amount. I don't know how to describe it, but I know how to do it. And then instead of letting it do that, you slow it down after you turn it into one piece of audio, so it goes dicka dicka.
Right, that's sweet. Let's keep listening. No, it is sweet. It is sweet. Like it's and the Dre thing I did not get yet, despite how much I've listened to it. I think because you've separated it between guitar line and then keys coming in subtly afterwards. I just see the keys as an accent. I don't see them as cousins that are dancing together. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. Also the pre-chorus.
Only there to help.
Like, that little pre-chorus that we put. It's the. Dun, 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 we don't wanna dun. Then that bit is that little. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Do that, yeah.
Gangster.
Yeah.
I feel like Ewan and I just discovered the same point about a song that you were part of creating, but
yeah.
I just forgot that we did that. Yeah, I forgot we did that.
As soon as we mentioned Dr. Dre, here we go. He was already off smoking, so yeah, there you go.
All right, Dre and Durst in the same conversation. That's life's a trip. Okay, we'll keep listening a little bit here. Yeah, because whenever I hear that on the left, I'm like, oh, it's like wild horses are like running down the street, you know, brum, 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 and it's like adding that excitement to get into the fire. We're running towards the bonfire. We're not scared of the fire, right? That's where my mind goes with it.
It's been the same and nobody wants to take the blame, but we all know we've done.
And then what are you adding to the bass? It seems like there's a secondary thing that's just sat on top, like you've got ham and cheese in a sandwich. What's that second lower end that's in there that's adding that texture in the verses?
So like I actually, do you know what? I really like the slides in that bit. I don't think that was a plan for. I think I played them and then somebody decided when they were like doing the comping to keep it. But it's really cool, like the do 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 do, and then yeah, it's just the same riff, like dun 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 dun. But then you go up to the A flat from the B because we're tuned this half step down, so it's like dun 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 like that.
So there's
I remember that.
So there's There's not two and there's not like a bass and a synth doing the same thing at the same time. It's just what's the bass sound then that you created, Ewan? Because it's got a texture to it that feels like there's more.
That recording session was so cool. I got to play through like 3 different amps at the same time. It was like the bass. As a bassist, you don't get that very often, but I got fully kicked out of that recording thing. Like that was awesome. It was like, what do we play through? I played through like a Marshall Plexi as well, like guitar amps as well. I think the main. What was the main bass amp? It must have been.
Was it a WEM?
Fender. Was it? No, I don't think it was a. Oh no, I don't think I played a WEM. I think the main bass amp was a Fender, and then it was going through like a Marshall as well. And then that Wizard amp. Do you remember the Wizard amp? That you guys used that as well.
Yeah.
That was a great little amp. That was. Yeah, it was cool. Like yeah.
Yeah, now that you say the 3 amps at the same time, that's the texture I'm hearing there. I think they're incorporated very subtly. 2 out of the 3 are maybe 10, 15%, no more than 20. And then the main one's obviously the main attraction in it, but it adds that depth. We'll keep going.
This world is run by psychopaths.
Yeah, that's an apt line. This song, you could have written this song 100 years ago, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I feel like it's going to get worse in the sense of the smaller, finite amount of people that control the overall consensus of what we enjoy and do and go about our day with. Was there a particular thing, Jim, that you were just like, something's got to burn? Or was it just, oh my God, why are we going through this repetitive cycle and system yet again? Burn this shit to the ground.
I think it's just the general frustration of like when we're always deceived into kind of thinking that an entire country wants to go to war, which is just ludicrous to think that every single person in that country is just like, yes, the hive mind has worked. We're all up for this. It's just, my partner, Violet, she's got a great suggestion for all of the leaders in the world, which is where we basically put them all in a room, give them a tape measure, shut the door, and then whoever's biggest wins. Because ultimately that's what it is about. It's just these little people who are just so content to kind of treat people as statistics. And the whole thing is just like, even though it's very like quite an angry song, it's actually quite like futile, the whole thing. It's just like, we don't want to die, but it is in your hands. If you don't make it right, the sky is going to burn in your name. It's just like literally, ozone layer, blood won't wash off your hands of all the wars and all that kind of stuff. And it's just this really angry thing of these people being outside. It sounds like a revolution song, but in a lot of ways it's just like, no, but seriously, explain why we're doing this, please. So that's kind of where it came from. Like not a completely different mindset to another one of our songs, Save Me. Just like a rant, But yeah, hopefully it'll do something. But as you'll see when it comes up, the middle 8 just says "go away" over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. Even reading about the news in the UK and the change of governments. Well, not necessarily the change of governments, but the change of personnel in terms of a government.
Yeah.
And I think an example. I don't want to get too deep into politics because I think they're all spanners. But the thing with it's like with Boris Johnson thinks that he can just I've been gone for 9 months now, and Rishi, surely I can come back and we can regain the trust of no, like it doesn't. But then I look over here and look, we've got Trudeau, who's a very fascinating two-faced politician. They all are. I think this is what really infuriates me, is that there's hope every 2-4 years for a change. But the reality is the average Joe, and I'm speaking for myself here, I don't know how the system works. I don't know. What I do know is that I see a repetition over my 30 years of existence where this person comes in saying they're going to do that. They get in, they can't do it. It's not their decision to make. They get out group consensed, and then they accept after 6 to 12 months, I'm going to be the boogeyman now. They become the boogeyman that you wanted out. They become the next one. It's just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And then yet they say, oh, why is no one voting? And the figures are down because no one's really... anyone that's voted once or twice and has lived for 8 to 12 years as an adult is going, I don't fucking really see any difference whether it's Dave or Jim or Timbuktu. That's the sad part of the reality of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Anyway, let's keep this.
Couldn't put it better myself. So yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Nothing to add, Your Honor.
Sorry, sorry.
You will burn, you fucking assholes.
Okay, let's keep going. I love the whispers,
Yeah. It's actually a new fragrance we're dropping at Christmas.
Oh my God.
Do you remember what was before that? When we changed it to the whisper.
Before that. Yeah, it was a scream, which actually, do you know what? I actually missed. I missed. I think we made a bad choice.
Yeah.
Not anything that's gonna, like, as manager Guy would always say, it's not a chart place. But it's before it was just like, this world is run by psychopaths. Then
so it wasn't you.
Yeah, that was sick. I don't know why we took that out.
It wasn't you screaming the word burn. It was just a scream release.
It was just a scream. It was just a
I
scream.
like that.
Yeah, just like a, See
the happy
but
medium.
Maybe it was too edgy for the world, and we often find ourselves being like, "Ooh, guys, is this too edgy?" But yeah, we decided that it wasn't.
You didn't come back at manager and say, "Hey, can we put the scream in the last bridge?" To
it
last
wasn't
song?
his choice. Actually, I think he missed it as well. It was one of those things where you're in the studio and it's good to make decisions, and sometimes, like, I definitely don't think that is a bad decision. You know what I mean? Could have put so many worse things there. But yeah, it's just a little thing which I think we all maybe sing in our heads. I know, like, Ewan and I do. Just every time that bit comes up, you just want to go, ah.
Yeah, just throw it in live one night. I mean, not when you're doing the acoustic with Jerry, but the next time that you've got the chance to throw it in there, you just let go. Just throw a guttural scream.
Yeah, man, always.
As long as it doesn't ruin your voice for the rest of the gig, there you go.
I've been there.
Okay, let's get into
the backing track.
Yes, you could. Yeah, just sample it off the R8 or something. Yeah, boom.
Exactly.
Oh, I love backing tracks. They're great.
Well, actually, so when it comes to your live show, what do you play with backing tracks or not? Do you flirt with them or not?
We do. And do you know what? Anyone out there is just kind of like, oh, not a real band. It's just like, grow up. I'm sorry, but grow up. We've had that so many times before where there's been the most boomerific of sound people who basically, as soon as you're just like, oh, okay, and we need the SPD or whatever to be plugged into the backing track, it's like, backing tracks, like Iron Maiden don't use a backing track. I don't care. It's like, thanks, great, nice one. No further questions. Like, no, I think everyone is using them, even the bands who say, oh, we don't use backing tracks. Nonsense. Yeah, all of these people are using backing tracks. It's just like, so you're all playing perfectly to tempo, but like computer perfectly to tempo. It's like, nah. Yeah, everyone's using backing tracks. And I think it's great. It's like, why not add more? It's the equivalent of a light show. It's kind of like, why just show, what you wouldn't look at a stage with one light on it. I mean, I'm sure you would, but I mean, it'd be way more interesting to have a light show. So why not incorporate as many elements of what people are familiar with as possible, Because, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Jim. I thought you were going to throw to you.
No, it's cool. I was just going to say, like, sometimes the question comes up, I think, with a lot of bands of just like, we're recording this thing but we won't be able to recreate it live. It's just like, that's the worst thing to do. Like, why think about that? I think that you just need to make what will be the best thing ever. I'm sure that Bohemian Rhapsody probably would sound really crap on an acoustic guitar. Can you imagine them showing that? Oh, this bit goes, I see your little silhouette. And the guy's just like, whoa, it's not my favorite idea, but you know.
If they came out with just an acoustic and a piano, people would think they're fucking nuts. Like, okay, Freddie, okay, this seems a bit much though. Like, you want to flesh it out a bit. It does.
Yeah, exactly.
To speak and add to your point, it is something that has come up in most conversations I've had with any musician the last 5 or 6 years or so. And I'm good with either way. You know, what I like about the purists is if they want to be the purists and we only do what we can perform in the studio live, well, then you know that for the most part, they're not going to add anything to that, to the recording that they can't do live. And if you're a band that wants to push yourself to be the most it's just growth. Like, it takes so much skill to play to a click, let alone to play to a click with a backing track, let alone to play to a click with a backing track and several other backing tracks that then is being mixed by most likely the drummer behind you to make sure it's all good. And then for many bands, with that backing track and the click and the sampling, then you can incorporate your own light show. So if you brought 2 or 3 of your own lights, if you're the support band, you know your light show is going to be fucking golden too. So I don't think you can afford to turn your nose at technology. If you want to play with it, dive in, get to know it. And one example I'll give to speak to the old shot, you know, the shoddy fella that was saying, I made a day fucking do that my day, spitting out his chewable tobacco at the same time, is that I saw a band. I was hosting, like, emceeing a battle of the bands just 20 minutes up the road. I did it for 4 or 5 years before the pandemic struck, and you know, one band would walk away with $3,000 of recording time money, and it was sponsored by Budweiser that looked after, you know, it was a great little contest. But there was a band that brought their own light show to a small pub stage and plugged in their 4 lights, and they brought their own sample pad, and the sound guy was an old school sound guy, and they said, right, we've got our backing vocals coming through here, and some, you know, like on kick accents when they've got that boom on like the first kick in each chorus, like to add that, oh my fucking God, we're in the Matrix, babe, or whatever, like they want to go for. And this guy was a complete, and it was very unfortunate. He turned up the backing track louder than anything else on the stage. So you could barely hear them singing, but you could hear the perfect backing vocal. And they're not aware of that because they've got in-ears in, singing to their own controlled mix, thinking they're fucking nailing it. And then they didn't win, even though they were strongest band that night, because it was creating such a weird atmosphere that judges didn't like it. They're like, oh, they're relying, because these are judges that aren't necessarily akin to the technology being used. 3 out of the 4 had no idea what was going on. And I was like, it's a backing track. Could you turn it down? Could you turn it down? No, they want the backing. They get the backing. I'm like, that's the unfortunate part of it. I like the fact that if you find the right sound guy in summary, you can completely control your mix. And so many opening bands up until this pandemic, maybe it's different after the pandemic, I don't know. But so many opening bands would get the short straw. Now with the rise of technology, they can try and get their head a little bit more above water than they used to. That's my resolution to the point.
Yeah, 100%.
But Ewan, I feel you were going to say something 5 minutes ago. Then I interrupted Jim, and then I don't want you to think that I forgot about you. What were you going to...
No, don't be silly. Don't be silly. I can't remember. It's all good.
Oh, shit. All right, sorry.
No, it's all right.
All right, let's keep listening to this. In fact, Ewan, you'd be perfect. You're Mr. Visual. You're Mr. Mise en Scène. You're Mr. TikTok. Tell us about the music video.
Oh, I had nothing to do with that.
You're in it.
I'll tell you about it. We did this video and Give Me the Words on the same day, and we did it in front of a giant green screen. So that's why at the beginning of the video it's got Jim's Give Me the Words thing, because the guy did both of them, so it was like a little throwback. But yeah, it was really cool. We obviously there's loads of animation, but that was done by a guy that I think it's Provoke Videos.
Provoke Media, a guy called Cyril Ayala, who's like a really talented.
Yeah, they've been really nice to us as well. Like they've been promoting the video really well for us as well.
Yeah, they have.
They've been like chatting with us, and so it's been really cool. Like thanks to them, basically. Yeah.
Because there was a few DIY do-it-yourself, put the GoPro on the dog and chase the bugger, right? Now this is in a green screen with the big room, and then you do 2 in one day. How much experience have you had doing that prior? I mean, because I don't know, we haven't spoken from last time. So what's your musical journey that brought you to these two, and obviously the three of you, but with Electric Enemy? Yeah,
my musical journey. Oh, mate.
Yeah.
And I've always done loads of music stuff, but like I've been playing guitar and bass for forever. I grew up playing double bass as well, and I've been in my own bands, whatever. But then literally, I just finished uni, and then I saw an advert on the internet for these guys. And I went along. I was the first. I turned up. I actually had a gig the same day, so I had to make them make the audition earlier so I could do both. Yeah, and then they were like, "Do you want to do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right." And that was like, what? That was probably only like 9 months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't long ago. It feels like a lot longer.
It does feel like a long time ago. I slotted in. It was quite nice. Yeah. It was all
I think it
like
was January or something. Yeah, I think it was January. Yeah. But yeah, Ewan is a very good fluffer. So yeah, that's why we like to have him on.
Oh, that's where that joke was. That's where that joke started. I've been trying to remember. Where that was from.
Yeah. Because I think we were filming someone else, and then
exactly.
Jumping around.
Exactly, yeah. That's been for a few days.
I think it was just great, kind of immediate chemistry. I remember as soon as he left the room. Obviously, when you're auditioning someone, you don't want to give the game away too much. Like, you don't want to play it too cool. Orlando, in fact, consistently told me throughout the day, just like, it's cool. And I was just kind of like, don't you move your hand at me. And but he was absolutely right. And it was just an instant kind of like, as soon as he left the room, we were all just like, isn't he? He's pretty nice. And it's true. It's just like a good energy. It goes such a long way, just being a nice person. Like,
you have to, like, the thing is, like, doing this all the time, like, it's a big struggle, and like, because you got to hang out with each other all the time and all that, and you have to like work for, like, delegate and like do stuff as like. See, if you get like someone who's being annoying, like, it does make the job a lot harder. So like a big part of it is just getting along with people, for sure. That's probably like a good like 80% of how you get it done.
I think so. I imagine. Yeah, go on. Sorry, Orlando.
Yeah, and you also have you were wearing you had some very tight pants that day.
Oh yeah, I was playing a glam gig afterwards. So I had my red leopard print trousers with me.
Oh yeah, you did.
That's why we like
and cowboy boots, actually. Yeah.
And the cowboy boots.
As soon as these two started talking about Black Sabbath, it was get a studio, guys. It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Orlando could read my mind, because I was going to say a few minutes ago, what was the first impression? What was one of the things that stuck with you about you? And I was also going to ask, how many people came through the doors that day? But you've answered both my questions. Really tight. Were they leather or just
tight pants?
Yeah.
Oh, they were like fake. They were like, to be fair, I can just they were in my bag. I didn't show up to the audition with them, but then like we came up in conversation after, and I showed them. I was just wearing black, but yeah, I had these. It was like bright red. It was like kind of like women's tights. So like, and they were made for women as well. So I used to have to tuck quite a lot to get it out of the way.
Good to know.
Yeah. flexing the Fred from earlier again there.
That was great.
Sometimes I gotta tuck. Anyway, whatever you got to do.
Oh, that's fantastic.
No, I'm not going to continue this parody version that I've got running in my head right now. What was I going to say? I was going to say to Orlando, you were speaking to maybe looking at moving location when we spoke for the first time. And I'm presuming you're all still in London now, or we were talking about Brighton, and maybe it's not quite working in London, but things have opened up a lot more since then, Orlando. So how are you finding the scene in London if you're still there? And where's that thought process out since we last spoke a year and a bit ago?
Oh yeah, I'm still in London. I just moved to North London. So yeah, it's basically home. So yeah, I can't just leave, can I?
Yeah, in terms of the band we were looking at, like, is maybe Brighton a better musical city compared to London? You were feeling like maybe it was just a bit the hustle. I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth from back then, but that was what I was getting into.
Yeah. No, we always like think about, I don't know, like changing, like location and stuff. But we never do. I mean, we got everything we need in London, so that's cool.
Yeah, and the grass is always greener on the other side, isn't it? You know, in any case, it's kind of just like, oh, wouldn't Brighton be nice? I think you always need a what if or an if only.
Yeah, and also we don't have enough the tight pants to move to Brighton. That would be brilliant, but you know, we just don't have that.
You've got some pretty tight leather number, Orlando.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. Why not?
Yep.
Yeah. I might buy more, because why not? I think Snoop likes it.
I thought you were looking around to show us. Right. Okay. We're getting you're changing the subject to the dog. I see. We'll cut the leather pant chat. No, I think, to be honest, you know, London obviously is the Mecca. It is the capital. You've got a launch pad to go. I think if you were looking to move completely to Brighton, it would make more sense to do a Manchester thing, you know, because you can access Brighton within an hour and a half train, I presume, maybe 2 max with a few changes or whatever. Whoever, I don't know if it's Southern, which is a really slow one, but when I used to go up and down the line there from living in and around Horsham. So I think you're in the right spot to explode to wherever you want to go to. I mean, you could always explore. You could go and get residencies in Birmingham or Manchester and play the same club for a few weekends in a row, whatever, and mix that in. Come see, come sa.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. At some point, we might move to Mars with Elon.
Yes.
We'll see. Maybe play a little gig there.
Which reminds me of the song by White Lies, I Don't Want to Move to Mars. If you've not heard that song, really, really good song. I think the chorus goes, I don't want to move to Mars. I'm not an idiot like those guys, or something. It's very funny. Great song by those guys. All right, let's get into the last minute of the burn here, because I'm conscious of the fact that you need to get ready for your BBC One debut in less than an hour. So let's wrap up this song here. So that's probably the first sort of choral effect that isn't you, Jim.
It's actually a mixture. So what you got there is Logic's own gospel choir. So Logic Pro's gospel choir, which is surprisingly good, by the way.
Yeah, it does sound good.
So I mixed that in with a Mellotron choir as well, and also with my own vocals. And basically that all together kind of gives you that. I don't know if you've watched Euphoria, the Zendaya thingy, the very shocking thing.
No, I have not. No, sorry, I don't watch too much.
Drugs and doing all sorts of weird stuff. But yeah, basically Labyrinth did some fantastic music for that. And I remember, I think the production of Burn came shortly after watching that, and I just kind of thought, wow, that's really cool. And like we'd played with orchestral choir stuff, you know, where do we go from here, take the wheel, all that kind of stuff. But there was something about that particular thing in this moment where it's just, I remember we were really talking about should there be a beat continuing through there, and I remember being adamant about no, I want there to be the gap of silence afterwards, because I really want that kind of that sinking feeling, which is why at first as well you also have that sub bass drop.
So good.
Because it's just like we've been charging forward, and this is supposed to represent that moment of kind of self-doubt and all of that, and just kind of wanting to clear everything away.
Yeah.
In short,
the right choice. Yeah, because you need that pocket of reflection. The listener needs to have that. Because this is what's fascinating about music is, for the most part, most people are just, oh, I like this rhythm. I like this feels good. And then it's like when people were complaining to Tom Morello about, what, you need to stay out of fucking politics, mate. You're saying all this shit about the world. Did you ever listen to the lyrics in Rage Against the Machine? It's fascinating how people didn't correlate the two. And so
it's ridiculous. Sometimes
you need to leave that space in the sonic field or in the composition to allow someone to try and at least catch up. But like in my case, I'm thinking of the horses all the time. Like this is just, I don't know. Spielberg's not going to make a movie about me riding a black horse majestically towards the burn. But that's what I think of, is like this really anthemic everyone's gathering, like looking out, like when everyone started to clap at the start of the pandemic for doctors and nurses. It kind of has, it makes me, this song creates that sort of energy where I'm like, imagine all these people coming outside and being like, oh, fuck, it's a comet. I think we're done for. Like, that's just what, that's where my mind goes. Not to get too Little Britain on you. That's the comet up there. Great. Yeah. All right.
Mom, Dad, look out.
And that guitar work is so cool. That reminds me of
Orlando's idea through and through.
I don't know if anyone in this conversation is familiar with CKY, but that has a very CKY feel to it. Did any of you play Tony Hawk Pro Skater, the first one?
Probably.
Let me play you a little sample of the band I'm talking about.
CKY.
I'll play it to you right now. 96 Quite Bitter Beings is what that reminds me of a little bit with the guitar tone. I'm not saying that you've stolen any melodies or sorry, well, not, you know what I mean, but
that's all right. We do all the time.
Yeah. Well, you've already revealed your Fred Durst and yeah. Okay, all right.
I know this.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? My friends and I, we actually call this song Bernadette Nair. Because the beginning goes Bernadette Nair.
Yeah.
Bernadette.
That's what I used to call it when I didn't know what it was on the Tony Hawk PlayStation game like 25 years ago.
That's a great song. It's kind
so
of like
good.
the Goldfinger version of 99 Lead Balloons. It's that kind of era, isn't it?
Yes,
that
exactly.
The way they do it. Clap, up, clap. Oh, so good. I love that.
And I learned of that song because it was on the FIFA 99 soundtrack. God, man, that's a trip down memory lane. But yeah, but Orlando, speak to that because that's such a cool energy that it brings to the last. Well, right before we go into the last chorus.
Yeah, at first I wanted to do like some sort of like harmonized guitar part, like Brian May, like, and then Jim looked at me and was like, no, and that's how it works. It's just like, no. Yeah, but yeah, harmonized guitars, but yeah.
I'm just leaving the space for everyone to just really comprehend the no. And please, we don't need any kick under that no. All right? I don't want this to kick-free no zone. And this is when I love your voice even more, when you take it up that octave and somehow don't explode. It's brilliant. So good. It's so good. Oh my God.
Thank you.
It's just, this is why I left commercial radio to try and build something that, oh, the mic stand's broken. Come back to me, mate. Come back.
I've got the same thing. You need the screwdriver for that middle bit.
It's an Allen key, frustratingly. There's no knob on it to do it. But this is why this is a massive reason why I left commercial radio to build a true modern rock station that I know can succeed and can grow. Give me 10 years to get its foundations built. It's only 2 years in. For bands like you, what you three and the four of you are producing is utterly scintillating. Like this is true modern rock. It is so authentic. It's so passionate. It's so relatable. It's so accountable. And it's amazing that Alex is going to play tonight at 1 a.m. And that's incredible for that amazing focus group of listeners that are into that. And I hope that they all go and do what they need to do, which is say, this is really fucking good. But there needs to be, that's why I'm going to build What Was That? Because Electric Enemy is one of the most exciting bands on the planet for me. And there are hundreds because they're all in what was that. But it's just, I'm so excited, like we discussed a year and a half ago, when this gets to where I think it can. You know, in 2 years of this radio station, I've earned $30,000 from supporters. I currently have 62 monthly supporters. I split everything 50-50, but to give to independent bands like you and to give to the mental health and the passions of those in the community that support me. But I've given away 25,500 of the 30 I've earned. I earn my money stacking produce. It's so imperative to me that energy transmits to new people when they come in and go, oh shit, he's not just showing me this stuff. He's helping these people grow too. And I can't wait until I get to the point, speaking of selfishness here and what I'd like to grow towards, and saying, Jim, I want to pay for you guys to come here. I'm going to team you up with an incredible band out of LA called Bexley that I think would be such a great show that I would like to actually, we spoke about this last time. We need to have that chat where I start introducing bands. Psychedelic Porn Crumpets out of Australia. I introduced.
Oh, I love them.
I told Jack about Bong Lord from Holland and Spiral Drive from Germany. He reached out to them and then booked Bong Lord to open for them in Europe. And then Spiral Drive have flown out to Australia to write songs with them. The Tasers out of South Africa have reached out to Bong Lord that they saw on What Was That Radio. And Bong Lord are going to South Africa for the first time in a couple of weeks to do a South African tour with them. The Tasers are desperate, this psychedelic rock band, to get out of their country because there's only 3 legit rock venues in the entirety of South Africa. It is all about EDM and dance. Mm-hmm. They find it so hard. That's what excites me about where this can go to, is that I'm just like the fat controller from Thomas the Tank Engine, just quietly, you do your thing and you go and do your thing. Don't worry about me. I'm just a passionate guy in the middle of it all. Just go and do it. And I just am desperate to see you live physically, and give you guys hugs because this is just so good and you're so wonderful. It's been so great to meet you, Ewan, today as well.
You too, man. Thank you.
I think you're such a character, and certainly from the Instagram stories I get, I'm like, okay, I know this guy before I've met this guy. There's no bullshit being put down here. You're not trying to be what you're not, which is what most of the internet sadly is trying to be what they're not, to be accessible and cool. Then they get to a certain point and go, why does no one care anymore? Because people have figured out that's not you, long story short. So in summary of this chat, all that 5-minute verbal diarrhea of awesomeness aside about pumping your tires, because I want Electric Enemy to still be going in 2032, 2042, 2052. That seems crazy, but I believe in it. So what is the next steps? You were hinting at Jim earlier. There's a new song. You've got this, you've got that. What's the rest of the year looking like ideally for Electric Enemy?
So we've got, so Burn is the last new song of the year, but early next year we're going to be releasing a new one. And then what we've been doing is been co-producing, and we recently worked with Pete Hutchinson, who did Royal Blood's last record. Ooh. So he's recorded 2 of ours, and then I'm recording 3 which we've tracked, and now it's just about finding time to mix everything and get it all sorted. Orlando sussing the artwork for everything, getting all that kind of side of things covered, and it's already looking great. But yeah, album hopefully springtime next year with vinyl, all of that kind of stuff. And it's just this this moment of like, I mean, I hate make or break, but just, make or make, where it's just, we're trying to get as much done as possible in a very, very short period of time, because it's just funny how it works. It's like you're not doing something for the band every now and then, although there's always something to do. And then all of a sudden it's just like, right, we need all of this by the 12th of December. And you just kind of, you wheeze inwardly and just go, right, let's do this. And that's what we're doing. But it's like, it's a real team effort, we're all working very hard to get it done and to get it sounding as great as it can possibly sound. Like the elimination process for songs on the album was pretty brutal, and we've still wound up with something like 13, which includes, I want to say, 8 new ones. So yeah, man, it's a busy time. So that's, it is going to be great. And I mean, Ewan, do you have a favorite one of the new batch which haven't been heard? Just not that it's useful to anyone listening, because I don't know what it sounds like, but I'm just always interested.
Maybe, do you know what? I think Oh, there's probably like I have 4 or 5 that I really love. So I'm not going to list them all because it will spoil it. But there's loads. Like they all just sick. I think it's actually like the best shit that we're going to put out that we like compared to what we've already done. And you, I say we, but I wasn't like previous to me as well. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it sounds
No.
It sounds really, really good.
Yeah. So that's it, and then hopefully next year, we'll get something together. I think we're just looking for that big support. Like we were very lucky this summer with Jerry Cantrell, which was mental, and that was great. So I think that we're looking to kind of promote the album with a band or a series of bands, and just trying to grow that way. Really,
How did the
there's only so much you can do.
How did the Jerry thing come about?
So basically, we heard that we were in the running, and then we didn't hear anything. And then 4 days before, including Isle of Wight Festival, which wiped out 3 days, they were just like, right, you got it. It's going to be an acoustic tour. So I was just sent out into the wild. The itinerary itself took like all of the time. And like we just kind of figured out, rather than me being driven places, I did the whole thing interrailing basically, which was exhausting, but it was amazing, being able to go to all those different places. And what was great was to have Jerry, I'm just going to say it out loud, to have Jerry Cantrell of Alice in Chains be like, hey, Jim, I think we should definitely get your band. Let's get you guys together in like London, the last show. Let's get it going. And he was, by the way, such a lovely guy. Like he literally introduced himself to me when we met. Like I turned up all on my own, Paddington Bear with my acoustic guitar on my back. It's like, is this the right place? Oh, I miss my marmalade. And he just came up to me and he was just like, hey man, so are you Electric Enemy? And it was just like, yep, Jim. And he was just like, hey man, so I'm Jerry. Really nice to meet you. Great to have you like part of the team. And if you need anything, you come to me. He gave me a fist bump, did the little rock sign, and that was probably the coolest thing that's ever happened to me.
That's really flipping sweet, man.
And there was Greg Pasciato from Dillinger Escape Plan.
Oh my God.
Gil Sharon from Marilyn Manson on drums. Tyler Bates, who does all of the John Wick films. Mike. I know is the Dickie Dollars. I can't remember. Mike something. He's actually a Canadian producer. He's great. Mike. I want to say Mike Posner.
Mike Posner.
Yeah. And then also Tyler's daughter Lola, who was brilliant as well. But it was just such a warm group of people, because I've been on a couple of tours before, and the best thing to do is to try and be invisible when you're the support act. Like you don't want to kind of be like, hey, let's all get to know each other. Do you know what I mean? Because they're just focused on their job at hand and all of that kind of stuff. But they were so welcoming, so warm. The entire team was just like amazing, basically. Amazing. And then at the end to have Jerry just before the final gig, when we were in Amsterdam, he was just like, so yeah, me and the guys were talking, just like, do you want to come on stage and play Rooster tomorrow in London? And I was just kind of like, yes. And then they said, we'll have a little guitar lesson, when I finish my sound check. So I was like, yeah, nice one, easy peasy, chilled, dropped the mic. He left the room, and I was like, I need to learn it as quickly as possible. And luckily the merch guy helped me out, who was such a nice guy as well, Jonathan Carver. But yeah, it was brilliant. It was brilliant, and
wow.
just the warmth was ridiculous. I
did not realize that Greg was in his band. I've been a Dillinger Escape Plan fan for a long time. I think his solo work is just incredible.
Yeah, his latest out, he released that while we were on the tour, and it was fantastic.
My God, wow. And so I imagine, I've seen him perform so many times, so unpredictable. What isn't unpredictable is in the intensity is just uncontrollable. Yeah. But what's he like to actually socialize with?
Do you know what? He's like, you can tell that he's like a genuinely intense dude. Like he's a real creative. Do you know what I mean? Like he's kind of just always, you can tell he's always thinking about stuff, but so nice. Just like, you know, always like just asking, just like, oh, how's it going? Everything all right? Like just a really, you know, good dude. But at the same time, probably one of the more like intimidating people, just like naturally intimidating people that I've met. Because he is like 0% body fat. He is just like pure muscle. And he's just like super like focused on the job. And even just when he performs, it's so intense, you know, like getting him to do like Them Bones, for example, just the beginning of that. He's just like,
oh, he does the
whoa.
scream. Oh yeah. Oh man, that must have been so good.
And he gives it everything every night. It's like, you know,
he used my head as a when he was in Vancouver for one of Dillinger's last ever shows.
Did he run over the top of your head?
Yes, he ran over the crowd, and he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna you fucking run." And I'm there like third person back. He just, I was like, he just ran on my face. I need to go and buy that hoodie. Like that's the universe telling me I need to buy this really cool one of a kind, only for this tall hoodie, and then go and drop $100 on a hoodie that I've barely worn because it's so incredible, like inside and out. It's all the artwork of all the records. Anyway, so it's wow. Okay, sweet. Conscious of the time, it's 1:45. You've got to go. You've got to get ready for BBC Radio 1 and everything else in between. But otherwise, you know, I'd just sit and we'd just talk for the whole night, even though it's your morning, Ewan, to be clear. But no, just thank you three so much for getting in touch again, and your support of sharing anything that I do that might involve you.
Thank you.
It's really appreciated. So yeah, I'm just really excited to see what's next. And I cannot get enough of what you produce. I honestly, we're gonna watch Burn after you all disconnect from this before I end the stream and the show, because it is so flipping good. I cannot say enough. I just can't. Thanks,
man. That's really, really nice. And honestly, yeah, you're a champion of music. Basically, you're awesome, and just anytime that you're in town, you're always welcome to the show. Just with like, that's like the least we can do. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, well, maybe we'll run over the top of your head and only your head.
Oh, it would be an honor. It really would.
And give you a free T-shirt.
Thank you.
Well,
I really appreciate that. No, I think the three of us will be coming to England in the next 2 years for sure. My partner Jody just typing in the chat, love Burn. It's stuck in my head constantly. Yeah, I was saying Jody earlier at the start of this that I've been playing it when they're getting their teeth done the last few nights before bedtime. But it's my cousins are getting married here, so my mum, dad, and brother will come here for the first time in 3 years. I think June 2023. I don't know if we're going to come across for the Christmas 2023 or for my 36th or whatever it is, 37th in April of 2024. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but when we're over there, you know, we'll be in Kent, but I will be in touch because we need to hang out in real life. Get a cup of tea. I haven't drank in 3 years, but we'll get a cup of tea. And if there's a show as well, then Harley would love to come along to that as well. I mean, so yeah, we'll sort that out.
Yeah, like even if there isn't a show, just like we'll just, I don't know, like pop down to rehearsal or something.
Yes.
We will literally stage a rehearsal for you.
That'd be so cool. Yeah, that'd be so cool. All right, lots of love to the three of you. Go and have an incredible evening with Alex and BBC Radio 1. Thanks so much again for your time. And if I don't release you and you don't get out of this right now, it's going to go on and on and on. You need to leave. You know I never close this. I can't close it. You need to go, otherwise it won't end.
Okay.
Good night, mate.
Lots of love, mate. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
See ya. Orlando at the end there. Wonderful. Something that I've learned in the last 10 years of my life is that when you feel, when your soul and when your gut feels something for someone's art or for someone as a person, there's so many of us that don't communicate. We feel, well, maybe they'll take it the wrong way or they won't. I genuinely adore pumping people. Pumping their tires in. Are you aware of how special this is? How special you are? How ingenious this is? How incredible this is that you created? Or in terms of with Harley and Jody and some of my best friends, the love of my life in the kitchen, some of my best friends in a very small community, those of you watching right now, we need to be more vocal in saying, hey, legit fucking really like this. I really, really like this. You cannot surround people enough in positive energy, because the next thing you know, they're going and working at their job, they're stacking produce, whatever it might be, and someone's like, this carrot is fucking shit. And it just, that negative energy then sits with that person the entire day, and they forget all those small victories, all those small positive nuggets that their friends and loved ones had said to them. That's what my mind does. It tries to stack up for myself. How can I move forward in remembering in the darkness all the brilliant things that arrived in that day, in that moment before the dark did, to try and ground and come back, and then try and pass it on to people as well. Like in that instance where I spent probably 8 minutes of that hour and 20 long minute chat just saying how incredible they are. Whatever you do in the rest of your day, and as always, please look after yourself. And I hope there's some fun and smiles involved in the rest of your day as well, because we've got to cherish that positive. I have some dinner, go to bed in a couple of hours' time, but then I'll probably be up until midnight anyway. But whatever. For now and until next time, lots of love and cheerio. Bye. See you then. Thank you very much. Ta-ra.